Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
I'm free during any time of the day. Just give me a call before you come over to the headquarters, Sean said, happy that they were coming to do their internship at his company. Okay, the duo uttered. It was then that Gloria marched out of the kitchen, looked at them and said, "Dinner's ready. Come over and eat." Gloria placed all of Nicole's favorite dishes in front of her, before turning to Jared and saying, "Jared, I don't know what you usually like to eat, so I've allowed the cook to make you some special dishes. Come, have a taste of it and see what you like." "Okay," Jared replied politely. "Nicole, these dishes are your favorites. I've asked the cook to make them for you. Give them all a try, would you?" she said. Jared stared at the stacks of food in front of Nicole and thought, "Isn't this a bit much?" He then looked at the other people, who only had a few dishes made for them. The treatment here is obviously preferential. "Mom, you prepared more dishes for Nicole than the rest of us here. Aren't you playing favorites?" Samuel asked in jealousy. "Is that so? Here, come have some of this." Gloria addressed Nicole patronizingly, completely disregarding the existence of others. All Samuel wanted was a better dish, and seeing this, Gloria quickly placed another dish in front of him for him to eat. Jared coughed and signaled Nicole to share some of her food with him, as it would be too embarrassing for him to ask out loud. Understanding what Jared had meant, Nicole turned to Sean at once and said, "I know Sean also likes this dish. Mom just told me to try some of these." Nicole then smiled and handed the dishes to Sean. Gloria understood what Nicole meant, and in relief she said, "Yeah, what Nicole said was right. I heard Nicole was awarded a restaurant with a Michelin star. I was thinking if she could give our chef a score. Anyway, let's snap out of it and hand that dish over to me." Gloria looked at them and said. It was only then that everyone began eating, with Nicole heaving a sigh of relief. Things got awkward real quick. "I think it's because Mom was a little too psyched. Perhaps it's her first time meeting Jared." Halfway through the meal, Sean suddenly looked at Nicole and asked, "Nicole, have you and Jared thought about when you'll be getting married?" Jared's heart suddenly tightened. I guessed it right. I suppose we can only wait for Nicole's answer. Then, he turned to look at Nicole and thought, Sean is Nicole's eldest brother and he was totally justified in asking that question. He did have the right to ask. Nicole darted Jared a glance, after which she calmly looked at Sean and explained, "We've been a little busy with our work as of recent. I think that, when the time is right, we will plan for our wedding." Jared gave Nicole a silent thumbs up after hearing her answer. She didn't betray his trust. There was credibility in her words. "Yeah, that's good. When you both aren't too busy with work, you can prepare for the wedding. It would be torturous for both your mind and body if you do it when you're tied up and stuff," Sean replied, having understood what Nicole had said. "Yeah. In fact, I won't be worrying too much about the wedding. I think Jared is the one who will be doing much of the worrying. I don't want him to carry most of the burden." Nicole glanced at him and continued talking without leaving room for others to ask questions. "Yes, we are grateful that you have Jared by your side." Gloria looked at the two of them with a satisfied grin on her face. Jared and Nicole then both looked at each other, their eyes brimming with love for each other. "When the time comes, you can turn to me and tell me what you need. As your eldest brother, I will do everything I can to support you." Sean looked at Nicole and said heartily, "Don't you worry. I think that you won't be the only one who will be busy by then." Nicole looked at everyone with a smile. "That's how it should be. Our sister's wedding is the top priority of the Riddle family, and no one is allowed to laze around." Steve said jokingly. "Steve, just say what you want to say. Why are you looking at us that way?" Samuel asked with a blank stare on his face. "What are you getting all riled up about?" Steve asked. "I didn't say who the slackers are." "Yeah, right, your eyes have already given it away," Samuel sarcastically said. "Wow, you're a genius, aren't you? You know how to read my eyes now." Steve shot back. "You? Okay, cut it out. Jared is still here. Behave yourselves." Daniel reminded. One after another, several heads turned to look at Jared's general direction, after which they continued to eat quietly without a peep. Nicole watched from the side as they quarreled over nothing, and with an obvious smile on the corners of her mouth, she thought, it's fun to have a family like them. Jared, don't mind them. They usually act like this. It's how they've always been since they were young. Daniel looked at Jared and explained. It's okay. I really like their way of getting along. There is something very pure about it. Jared said. Indeed, he could truly feel it, as he thought that was how easily a family ought to get along, unlike his. Really? Well, so long as you don't mind. Here, have some of this dish. This is what Nicole eats every time she comes back for a visit, Daniel said to Jared with a smile on his face. Okay, Jared said. The entire family happily ate the rest of their dinner, and after it was over, they watched as Nicole and Jared left the residence of the Riddles. In the car, Nicole looked at Jared and asked, How was today for you? Jared shot Nicole a glance, and in a tone of voice that reeked of envy he said, It's been very eventful. You and your siblings all get along very well. Then, he thought, if only the Johnston family were the same. Why? Are you envious? Nicole asked, looking into his eyes. You're a part of our family now. You can join us if you like our way of getting along with one another, you know. It's all right. I'm fine, I'm used to being alone. Although I've missed out on the joy you have, losing those things have allowed me to focus on my work, Jared said as he looked at the situation from another angle. All right. I hope you know that our family really likes you. Nicole looked at Jared and said. I know, he replied. Are you going to stay at Mrs. Wallace Sr.'s place tonight? Jared looked at Nicole and asked. No, I have work tomorrow, Nicole answered. It'll be closer if I stay here. Okay, in that case, I'll get us directly to my place. Jared ended, and proceeded to drive his way to his mansion. Back at the villa, Nicole was about to go to the living room to take a rest when her phone suddenly rang. She picked it up to see that it was Zeke calling, and so, she casually answered it. Zeke, what's the matter? Nicole asked. I'm having a little trouble with that mission. Do you have the time to look into it? Zeke asked in an anxious tone of voice. Relax, don't worry. I'll take a look at it for you right away. Nicole took her phone with her and walked upstairs. Upon reaching her bedroom, Nicole quickly switched her computer on and texted Zeke. Should I video call or should I help you out remotely? Remotely. I think it's better that way. Zeke replied. Okay. I'll call you in a bit. Nicole gained remote access to Zeke's computer after a while and carefully went through Zeke's files, checking for any errors. It was at this moment that Jared knocked on Nicole's bedroom door. He peered in and saw that she was busy in front of her computer. There's still work to be done at this hour? Jared asked. Yeah, there's something that needs to be handled at the moment. What do you need? Nicole looked at Jared and asked. It's nothing. I just want to get some sleep, Jared explained. I may have to work for a while longer. Why don't you sleep in your room, so I don't end up disturbing you, Nicole suggested. Jared looked at her and frowned. Why is she being so secretive again? Is she afraid that I'll be watching her? Nicole, I've tried this before. You can try other methods. Zeke's voice suddenly sounded from the phone. Crap. How can I forget to hang up the phone, she thought. Jared could not help but frown as he thought, the man's voice sounds familiar. A light then flashed in his eyes. Isn't this the man from before? Jared recalled carefully before confirming that it was the man who had spoken to Nicole previously. Nicole, who is that on the phone? Jared looked at Nicole and asked. A friend of mine. I told you about it not long ago. Nicole looked at Jared and explained. You can go out now. I'm really in a hurry to work here. Nicole got up and pushed Jared to the door. Then, she shut the door with a slam and proceeded to lock Jared out of the room. Jared glanced at the closed door and took a deep breath. I must find out what she's up to with that person. Jared walked into his study room, turned his computer on, and began to investigate Nicole's recent activity on the Internet History browser. Jared was well aware of Nicole being a master of hacking, and thus, he naturally had to search from the hunters. That night, Jared and Nicole became busy with their respective affairs in front of their computers, with neither disturbing one another. Jared came down to the kitchen the next morning to make breakfast for Nicole. His complexion was also better than it was before, as if he already knew what Nicole was up to. Nicole was busy getting ready upstairs. After she was done dressing up, she made her way downstairs. "I think I'll just skip breakfast today. After how I had treated him last night, I doubt he would make breakfast for me." But as soon as she was there, she took a glimpse into the kitchen and saw that Jared was already making breakfast. "What are you looking at? Sit down quickly and have breakfast. Aren't you needed at the R&D center?" Jared reminded, as he placed the dishes on the dining table. Nicole looked at Jared and did as he was told. However, she did not begin to eat. Instead, she waited for him to join her at the table, out of courtesy. Jared brought another dish out to the dining table, and there, he noticed that Nicole had not begun eating. "What's wrong? Is it not appetizing?" Nicole hurriedly waved her hand. "How could I not have appetite?" "No, I'm waiting for you so that we can eat together," she said. Jared looked at her with the corners of his mouth lifting. "That's not bad. At least you know how to be considerate. Now, let's eat." "What do you mean? Was I not considerate before?" Nicole looked at him and retorted. "I can't really recall, but someone had quite the attitude last night." Jared hinted at everything that had happened last night and quietly observed Nicole's demeanor. Nicole's annoyance vanished at once. She gave him an aggrieved look and said, "I did give you an attitude last night, I admit, but that was because I was in a hurry and didn't take your feelings into account. I'm sorry." Jared noticed a trace of guilt on her face. He looked at her and mentally smirked. "However, you did notice that I had something that needed to be done. You completely ignored that and made it difficult for me. I think you ought to have some responsibility in this," Nicole said while eyeing him. Nicole genuinely believed that she could not take all of the blame. "If he hadn't entered the room to bother me, then the rest wouldn't have happened." Initially, Jared wanted to give her a compliment, but after hearing the second part of her sentence, he looked at her and said, "You're putting the blame on me now?" "No, we both had a role to play in how things turned out last night. We're both responsible to some extent," Nicole feebly muttered, as she did not dare pin the blame on him. Jared issued an audible sigh. "I guess I made breakfast for nothing." Nicole hurriedly threw her arms out, with her hands hovering inches above her plate. "No, the breakfast has nothing to do with this. I am very satisfied with all you've done for me this morning. Thank you." "It's more important to have a full stomach," Nicole added, hoping it would calm Jared down. "Quickly eat up or it'll get cold." Jared reminded her out of concern, and did not pursue the argument any further. Agreeing with what he had said, she began to eat. As soon as they had cleaned their plates, the duo left for work together. "I might get off of work late today, Jared looked at Nicole and spoke. Feeling helpless about the situation, she thought, what does he mean? Is he still angry about last night? He has never been this sensitive of a person, so why would he make a big fuss this time? "It's okay. Don't worry about me. I'll head back to my grandma's place tonight," Nicole said with a blank stare. Jared, who had calmed down from earlier, looked at her with his brows raised, as though he was aware that something had gone wrong. "What's the matter now? I have a really busy day ahead. I'm just telling her in advance so that she wouldn't stay up waiting for me, or else I would have allowed her go to the office and accompany me." "Nicole, today I am." Nicole gave him a wave of dismissal without waiting for him to explain. "I'm in a hurry to leave." She got into her car, stepped on her accelerator, and drove away, leaving Jared to watch her leave as he swallowed the words that had been left unsaid. Seeing this, he had no choice but to get in his car and drive to the office. Nonetheless, Jared followed Nicole's car on the way to work. Nicole noticed him trailing behind her through her rearview mirror and turned a blind eye to it, pretending as if she did not see it. In response, Jared sped up, pulling up to the side until their cars were parallel to each other to glance at her. Though she noticed him, she deliberately ignored him, after which she floored the accelerator, leaving him far behind. As helpless as Jared felt, he gave up on the chase her to avoid any accidents. The two cars then drove off in two separate directions at the intersection, and by the time Jared arrived at the office, Max was already waiting for him. "Mr. Johnston. What's the matter?" Jared looked at Max and asked. "Yes, sir. Henry Johnston has been captured by our men. He's on his way back now," Max reported to him. Jared's eyes lit up, and he looked at Max at once, whereupon his eyes slowly fell back in a roll. "Did anyone spot you when you captured him?" "No, but the bodyguards protecting him might have noticed," Max replied while looking at the time. "Well, it doesn't matter now," Jared said. "He is already on a plane here, right?" "Yes," Max answered. "It's fine. If they do decide to challenge us, let them come. I won't let them take him away from me." Jared looked forward with his cold, piercing eyes. "Mr. Johnston, what will you do when Henry reaches?" Max asked, looking at Jared. "I still have to wait for the Mr. Johnston Sr.'s instructions on this matter. Have him settled in at our hotel and keep him guarded. Remember that no one must find out about him," Jared solemnly ordered. "Yes, sir," Max said. "Do you have any other orders, Mr. Johnston? Has Joyce made any moves recently?" Jared looked at Max and asked. "No, the McCarthy family will be making their sacrifices to their ancestors tomorrow. They've been quiet for the past few days," Max replied. "Quiet? Tomorrow we must pay special attention to their movements. Get someone to protect Nicole in secret." Jared looked at Max and ordered. "Yes, sir," Max said. "By the way, what happened to the foreigner that the McCarthy family is leeching on?" Jared asked. "We're still investigating them. So far, we've only come to know that they are of the Herald family." The Heralds. Jared could not help but become solemn upon hearing the name being uttered. "Mr. Johnston, do you know of the Heralds?" "Yeah, the Heralds have a long history across the globe. They have cooperative relations with families of renown across the world in various fields. They're very prestigious, and it's said that their businesses have been handed down for many generations now," Jared explained to Max as he gazed off into the distance with his piercing eyes. "What I don't get is, how was the McCarthy family able to leech off of the Heralds? This is way too peculiar," Jared said, unable to stop thinking about it, and unable to figure any of it out. "I don't understand," he thought. "Regardless of which angle I am viewing this from, how can the McCarthys, who are of no value, be of any use to them? Could it be true love? This is ridiculous. Off you go. Report to me if you come across any new developments." Jared looked at Max and ordered. "Yes, sir." Max turned to leave after he was done speaking, leaving Jared to ponder about this at his desk. Meanwhile, Nicole had just pulled up in the parking lot of the Golden Coast building, and was about to walk toward the building when she was stopped. "Excuse me, are you Ms. Riddle?" A masked man approaching Nicole asked, stopping her in her tracks. "You are," Nicole asked, whereupon the man immediately produced a vial of liquid from behind and splashed it onto her. Agile, Nicole quickly dodged the splatters. Droplets of the liquid splashed onto her clothes, which were quickly corroded and stained. Nicole noticed the corrosion marks on her clothes, and immediately knew the composition of the liquid. She lifted her head to see who had attacked her, but the person was already long gone. So fast. Nicole stomped on her feet in anger, knowing she had allowed the culprit to get away. It seems that they have planned this for a long time, seeing how fast of an escape route they had. Asterisk. With much of her clothes dissolved. Nicole took them off and dumped them in the trash can, before making her way into the building, as she could no longer wear them. Instead of making a beeline for the R&D center, she headed to the control room. She knocked on the door as soon as she had reached, and it was not long before the people within came to open the door. "What's the matter with you?" they asked upon seeing Nicole's ragged state. "I was attacked outside the building moments ago. I want to check the surveillance." Nicole looked at the staff politely and explained. "My apologies, but if you are not the person in charge here, you don't have the authorization to enter," the staff refused with a coldly. Hearing this, Nicole had no choice but to give Harvey a call. "Where are you? I need help with something in the building." You mean the Golden Coast? Wait for me. I'll be there soon. Harvey hung up and immediately got up from the couch before running to his car and driving off in a hurry. Soon after, Harvey arrived at the Golden Coast building. Nicole, who had been waiting on the couch in the hall for 10 minutes, then checked the time. I didn't expect him to be here so quickly. Mr. Ellison, why are you here? The staff greeted Harvey as soon as he had entered the hall. Harvey completely ignored their question and made a beeline for Nicole before asking, "What do you need me for?" The staff were stunned when it dawned upon them that Nicole actually knew Harvey. She didn't say she was acquainted with Mr. Ellison. She called him here directly. What should I do? Before the staff could speak up, Nicole opened her mouth and said, "Elle just wanted to check on the surveillance, but your people wouldn't let me in because they didn't know me." Harvey understood what was going on at once, and shot the staff an icy glare. The staff was frightened to the bone, with goosebumps rising on his skin as he stuttered, Mr. Ellison, all the lady said that she was attacked and had to look at the surveillance footages. She did not mention that she knew you either." Harvey's hardened expression was unwavering, which showed how much he cared about her and that he would stand his ground if anyone made her unhappy. "You can go and collect the rest of the month's salary," Harvey said. "There's no need for you to come to work anymore." "What?" the staff member exclaimed, stunned. "All I did was show her a bad attitude, and now I'm losing my job." "Miss, I know I messed up. Please, I didn't know that you were acquainted with our boss. Please, you must help me out." "A great man will not remember the faults of a petty man," the staff said hurriedly. Nicole noticed the pitiful look on the face of the staff member as her eyes glinted with indifference. "This man is nothing short of boorish. Even if I had said I knew Harvey, he would just make the situation even harder for me. Calling Harvey over did make things easier. Be kinder to people next time." Nicole strode past him and made a beeline for the elevator after she was done speaking. With Nicole being indifferent to the pleas of the man, Harvey too walked away, having lost all of his patience for the staff member. The lobby manager, who had heard the news, then rushed over and called the security guard to escort the staff away at once. With a look of apathy, Nicole listened to the staff begging not to be kicked out as Harvey led her to the elevator and pressed a button. "I really did not expect that you would take the initiative to call me." Harvey knew that Nicole seldom asked for help, and with the fact that she had requested his help for such a trivial matter today, he was over the moon. Nicole glanced at him and said, "It is the owner who must handle the situation when his dog misbehaves. Wouldn't you agree?" Harvey's smile froze at an instant. "Gosh, this is awkward. Why did she have to word it like that? It feels like I'm being humiliated." When the elevator doors opened, Nicole ignored him and marched into the elevator, with Harvey having no choice but to follow her into the control room. The security guards were all stunned when they saw Harvey walking in, and all of them immediately stepped forward to greet him. "Mr. Ellison, what brings you here?" At this hour, Harvey usually would not come to work. However, upon seeing a woman standing behind him, the security guards were stunned, as it was the first time Harvey had brought a woman to the Golden Coast building. "I wonder what her background is." Nicole ignored their gaze and addressed Harvey directly. "I was attacked in the parking lot. Get the security to play the surveillance footage." The security guards immediately adjusted the monitor and gave way to Harvey. Harvey glanced at Nicole, who looked like she was determined to get to the bottom of this. She was sitting with her legs crossed, looking very standoffish. The security guards were amused by Nicole, whose standing allowed her to be in the good graces of their employer. "Is this woman Mr. Ellison's girlfriend?" The two of them dared not ask, and so, the both of them got up, flashed them nervous smiles, and went to make tea for them. Nicole stared at the screen intently. Soon after, the footage loaded, showing that someone was already there, and had been camping in wait in the parking lot prior to her arrival. The person was extremely cunning, as they had already planned the assault in such a way that the surveillance cameras were not able to capture anything, barring the moment he had attacked. Though the face of the assailant was revealed momentarily, the angle at which the image was captured made it impossible for Nicole to discern their features. They were also wearing a mask, which only allowed Nicole a fleeting glimpse of their eyes. Nicole took her phone out and took a picture of the man's face. For the rest of it, I'll go home and use my tracking software to find this person. Nicole put her phone away, after which she got up and said to Harvey, I'm done here. Thanks for helping me out. Although Nicole was being polite, the look on her face was anything but. Harvey knew that she was injured in his building, due to which he was partially responsible. His eyes darkened as he turned back to look at the security guards. What's the matter with you guys? Why weren't you aware that someone was being attacked in the parking lot? The two security guards were startled by Harvey's sudden outburst. We really didn't pay attention. Nicole sensed that Harvey was about to fire the security guards because of her. She felt that she was making a big fuss, so she spoke up, leave it. It's not unusual for them to be unable to see so many screens at once. The two security guards looked at Nicole and nodded. The light in their eyes indicated that they understood she had decided to spare them, and they were very grateful to Nicole for that. Understanding that Nicole did not wish to pursue this, he assured her, don't worry, I will find out who this person is. Nicole shook her head and said, I have a solution. There's no need to alert the police so that it doesn't alert the culprit. Saying goes that if there is a premeditated attack, there might be a snake behind the mouse, and if one were to lure the snake out of the hole, it would be harder to get the mouse, she thought. Harvey did not like where this was heading. Each time something happens, Nicole would solve it by herself, and Jared would always be of help to her. But why is it that I could never be of help to her? Gosh, I'm always so powerless standing next to her. Talk about being useless. No matter what you're looking into or how, I will definitely not sit back and do nothing. Harvey walked out of the control room after speaking, his resolute tone and his frustration leaving the two security guards baffled. What's the situation? One thought. Why is this lady so cold? Is it because their relationship has not been established yet? Another thought. The two security guards observed the look of defeat on their employer, before taking another look at Nicole. Our boss is such an outstanding man, who attaches so much importance to her safety, and yet she seems so uninterested in him, he thought. She is even keeping her distance. This woman really is something. Thanks, she said, ignoring the look of bafflement on their faces. Nicole left the control room and returned to the office on the top floor, after which she switched her computer on and began the process of scanning the man's face. Although he was wearing a mask underneath, she possessed a cutting-edge software which could restore the outline of the lower half of the perpetrator's face. Nicole was pensive as she eyed the face that had been digitally constructed. She had never seen this person before, and it was unlikely that she had inadvertently instigated a vendetta. Nicole logged into the Hunter, after which she posted forth a mission to seek information about this man. She had no time to spare on trivial yet arduous tasks such as these, so she decided to leave it to others. Unexpectedly, Zeke called her not long after she had posted the assignment on the website. Nicole, why don't you just call me when you have something that needs taking care of? Nicole did not expect that Zeke would even want to take on such a small task, and so she frowned. You're a phantom. How can you take on jobs such as these? Yeah, sure, I won't take other people's work, but it is my duty to help you out. He argued. Nicole had aided him in a mission of his own before, and thus, it was out of courtesy that he had to return the favor. Don't you have better things to do? Nicole raised her eyebrows. This guy can complete a mission worth hundreds and thousands of dollars, and yet he wants to do this? This tiny task won't take up much of my time at all. I'll promise to bring you news as soon as possible. Zeke hung up directly after quoting the price. Nicole could not help but curl her lips into a smile. Although this guy likes to screw around, he's still pretty reliable. Nicole then placed all of her focus on her work, and in the blink of an eye, time drifted. Before she knew it, it was already lunchtime. She stood up to stretch, and was about to order herself a takeaway when she heard a knock on the door of her office. Nicole raised her head hesitantly and saw Edward's face. The last time I saw him, I was helping him deal with Rowan's affairs, and that was so long ago, she thought. I didn't expect to see him again today. He was one of Preston's friends. Nicole did not treat him with coldness and indifference, opting to address him calmly instead. What's the matter? Oh, I came here to look for Harvey today, he said. Instead I found out that your R&D center is here in Golden Coast. I was looking for a chance to thank you for the last favor you've done me, but I haven't had the chance to meet you since then. Nicole curled her lips and politely she said, "Don't mention it. I was helping Preston out as well." For her efforts, she was handsomely rewarded. Edward looked tense as the exchange continued. On the other hand, Nicole could not help but narrow her eyes. Then, she thought for a moment and said, "Was it Harvey who asked you to come to me?" And just like that, Edward had been exposed. Nicole is so clever that she can even read minds. Unable to keep up the charade, he confessed, "Yes, it was him. He's too embarrassed to ask you to go out for lunch, so here I am, being used as an excuse." Nicole gave him a slight frown. That Harvey Ellison. Since when has he decided to resort to such tricks? He was already shameless enough as he was. In a tone of nonchalance, she said, "I'm not going. Tell him I already have an appointment." Ha! Edward was stunned for a moment. Nicole went on to ignore him. She opened the door and walked out of the office. As Edward looked at her from the back and shook his head bitterly. Wow, she really has the nerve to turn Harvey down, he thought. How can I be as brazen as her? This is embarrassing. He shook his head as he left the top floor. Harvey was going through his documents when Edward appeared before him with a frown. "Hey, didn't you invite Nicole out to lunch? How are you so calm?" Harvey lifted his head slight and asked, "She agreed." "No. How was I supposed to make it happen?" "She had the nerve to turn you down, even though she knows me." Edward grimaced as he discovered where he stood in this situation. Harvey glanced at him, before continuing to go through his documents. Noticing that Harvey was oddly calm, Edward stared at him in bafflement and said, "It surprises me that you're not even showing a tad bit of disappointment. This guy had threatened me just earlier, forcing me to do it, and now he doesn't even look like he had an ounce of damn to give," Edward fumed from within. "I knew she wouldn't say yes," Harvey said. "Nicole already has someone in her heart, so it would be odd if she agreed. I have nothing to lose if she rejects me." Edward could not help but stare in bafflement when he understood what had just happened. "You know why it was not going to work out? Then why did you get me to ask her out on your behalf? Are you kidding me?" Harvey raised his eyes coldly. "So what?" Edward suddenly lost his cool. He was really aggrieved, but he was unable to let his temper fly just like that. He gritted his teeth and yelled, "You're shameless." By the time Edward had uttered those words, he had lost all interests in having lunch with Harvey, and hence, he turned around and left. Harvey was then left to sift through his documents after the door had closed. A sense of emptiness was lingering in his heart. Though he did not show it, he did not like how Nicole always rejected him. When will I ever develop a closer bond with her? Meanwhile, Nicole had walked out of the Golden Coast building. She had done all of that to deceive Edward into thinking she had an appointment, but now, she was truly starving. She wanted to grab a meal at once, but it was at this moment that her phone rang. She reached out to answer the phone, and a mature voice sounded from the other end. "Ms. Riddle." Nicole thought for a long while before recognizing it as the voice of Alfred, an old house butler for the Riddles family. "Alfred? What's the matter?" Alfred heard that Nicole had recognized his voice, and immediately said, "Yes, it's me. Mr. Riddle Sr. does not seem to be doing well as of recent. He has refused to go to the hospital." Alfred knew that Nicole had some medical knowledge, which was the reason as to why he called. "All right, I'll be back as soon as possible." Though it was only lunch break, there was still enough time to fit a round trip in. Nicole then headed to the parking lot and drove to the Riddle family manor. The Riddle family manor is exceptionally quiet today. It seems that Grandpa is ill and did not want to alarm anyone, Nicole thought. Though the house was quite deserted, Alfred seemed a little excited when he saw Nicole. He began to fill Nicole in on the condition of Mr. Riddle Sr. He caught a cold last night and has not been feeling well today. He refuses to go to the hospital as he thinks it's a common which will go away on its own. Alfred could not help but issue a sigh. Even now, he refuses to accept that he is aging. Nicole walked up the flight of stairs before reaching out to knock on the door. Thinking it was Alfred, Mr. Riddle Sr. responded, "Come in." Nicole pushed the door open and walked in. "Grandpa." Mr. Riddle Sr., who was on the rocking chair, opened his eyes when he heard Nicole's voice. He immediately got excited when he saw Nicole. "Oh my, why are you here? Come sit down quickly." In response, Nicole took a seat directly across her grandfather. "How could you find time to come here when you're so busy?" he asked. Mr. Riddle Sr. knew Nicole was out there doing great things, although he never asked. "Are you sick?" Nicole asked without beating around the bush. "What did Alfred tell you? He's really getting more and more out of line as of late," Mr. Riddle Sr. said, immediately feeling embarrassed. Nicole issued a sigh and reached out to feel his pulse. Although he disliked seeing the doctors, he could still accept Nicole's methods of coming up with a diagnosis. He had to put his stubbornness aside and let Nicole feel his pulse. In an instant, Nicole discovered what was going on with Mr. Riddle Sr. "Grandpa, you're not young anymore. Catching a cold is nothing minor now. Though you're not sick, you're already displaying some symptoms." Mr. Riddle Sr. was rendered speechless, and so he sighed. "Fine, I accept that I'm old. I'll just do whatever you ask me to." Nicole smiled and ordered the butler to bring some medications over. In response, the butler quickly left to get them the medicines as he thought only Nicole could convince Mr. Riddle Sr. As for Mr. Riddle Sr., he remained seated to have a chat with Nicole in the living room. He looked at her before saying, "How are things with Jared?" "What's with the sudden question, Grandpa?" Nicole looked at him curiously. "Why is he talking about me all of a sudden?" "I'm just worried about you. You've both been engaged for such a long time. Isn't it time for you to consider marriage?" Mr. Riddle Sr. smiled gently. "Grandpa, you're just like Mom and Dad," she said. "Oh? Did they urge you to get married too?" Mr. Riddle Sr. looked at Nicole, amused. "Yeah." Nicole nodded. "It goes to show that we love you," the old man said. "I know, Grandpa. Actually, Jared and I already have a plan. We have too much on our plates these days, so we're planning to prepare for the marriage after we're done with the bulk of our work." Nicole informed him about their plan without hiding anything. "Ah, you already have a plan. I won't have to worry then." Mr. Riddle Sr. looked at Nicole earnestly. "Yeah, you don't have to worry at all. Just remember to attend my wedding," Nicole requested. "I'll definitely give you a big gift, but I probably won't be at your ceremony," he responded. "As the grandpa who loves me the most, how can you not attend my wedding? You can be sit out anyone's wedding but mine," Nicole pleaded. "Nicole, I'd really love to go to your wedding, but You've always been well, haven't you? What are you worried about?" Nicole studied his mannerisms. "He looks strong and healthy. He's probably even healthier than most middle-aged men." "Well, I haven't gone out for quite some time now, so I'm not used to those sorts of environments anymore," he replied. "Grandpa, that's just because you haven't been going out. You'll feel better once you start taking strolls outside," Nicole consoled him. "I'm an old bag of bones now. Where can I go?" Mr. Riddle Sr. smiled gently. "Ms. Riddle, here's the medication. Which one do you need?" The butler approached them with a box of medications. Nicole sifted through the pile for the medication that she wanted before taking it out for her grandfather. She then looked at the butler and said, "Feed this oral medication to Grandpa twice a day. He'll be better in about 3 days. If he hasn't recovered by then, please send him to the hospital immediately." "Understood, Ms. Riddle." The butler looked at Nicole with a solemn expression on his face. "Thank you very much," she said. "Grandpa, I have work in the afternoon, so I'm not going to stay any longer. Please listen to the butler and take your medication on time. Otherwise, I might have to come back any time," Nicole reminded him with a serious look on her face. Mr. Riddle Sr. smiled faintly as he found Nicole extremely cute whenever she was being cheeky. "Don't worry. Well, I'll be leaving now. Take good care of yourself." Nicole then walked out after bidding farewell to her grandfather. "Hey, send her off for me," Mr. Riddle Sr. ordered. "I'll send you off, Ms. Riddle." The butler looked at Nicole. The butler proceeded to walk her out of the house and say, "Ms. Riddle, I hope you can visit your grandfather whenever you're free. I feel that his brain is starting to get fuzzy as of recent."
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.